evidence, but even, but I'll, because this is going, sorry, I've just got to say something. And first of all, I preface this by saying that one of the things I share with Justin is that in my early 30s, I decided I wanted to become an actor for want of anything better to do. So I spent 3 years in a theater school in Montreal, and then another 15 years, you know, mostly doing theater, but, you know, doing movies and films and radio and commercials. But I did about 35, 40 professional productions. And eventually I got tired of it, and I wasn't a particularly good actor. And you won't, you know, don't check the newspapers for my name, because I was just a foot soldier in the Canadian repertory scene. And but I learned a thing or two about theaters. And the thing that struck me immediately about the general tone of these excerpts was their theatricality. And I don't mean cheap theatricality, I mean real drama. And the essence of drama is conflict. The conflict between big ideas, big passions, and as represented by strong characters with strong purpose, when you're an audience member and you're there looking at it, you know it's an illusion. You know it's not real. You know there's no real blood or anything like that. But these passions get played out, and you have real feelings that you have about what you're seeing. But But these feelings are not being manipulated. They're not being, there's no call to arms. That's demagoguery, and that's somebody standing up on a pulpit saying, you know, do this, do that. That's not what theater's about. Theater's about feel this, watch this, think about this, and then, you know, absorb it, leave the theater, and go about your business, but just think about it. And, you know, if you leave the theater and you don't go out and riot in the streets based on anything you've seen, you go to the bar and have a nice conversation about, you know, in my case, sports, and perhaps with one of the actors from the show. And, you know, I can talk sports all night, but I know that what I saw is very real. I mean, it's very real for the moment, but it's not a call to arms. And the emotions expressed, so the emotions, I don't see the emotions expressed by the Reverend Wright as being hatred and you know, racism. I see them as being urgency. And listen to this, because this is powerful. If you want somebody to listen to you on the stage, you don't talk in a soap opera-ish kind of everyday kind of language. You have learned as an actor to project, to reach the audience, to shake them up, to make them aware. And that's what he's doing in those excerpts. Even though I can see that, and they fall basically into two categories. It's hard to tell when they were said, but it appears that the first two that only appeared for a day and then disappeared were at the start of the campaign that at a time when in the black community Hillary Clinton was a very well-known figure, and certainly in Chicago Barack was known, in Illinois, but outside of that he wasn't really known. So the black community, the polls showed that they favored Hillary. And Hillary is not something that somebody that Reverend Wright disliked. I mean, he probably supported her, as he certainly seemed to be on congenial terms with him in the White House when he went there. So, but he's saying in the first of these tapes, he's comparing Barack Obama, the unknown, with Hillary Clinton, the known, and he's saying Hillary Clinton doesn't know what it's like, what it feels like to be black. Hillary Clinton doesn't know what it feels like to be marginalized and discriminated against because of the color of her skin. She doesn't know what it's like to stand in the middle of a road, a lonely road at night in a dangerous part of the city, trying to hail a cab, but be passed by because of the color of your skin. Hillary Clinton doesn't know, essentially, what it's like, what it feels like to be called a nigger. Now, I asked Justin about this, and I don't know what it feels like to be called by that term. I couldn't possibly know, neither could any white person in America. And I was asking Justin, who shares Barack Obama's dual heritage. His mother was an Afro-American and his father was a white Czechoslovakian. I said, have you ever been called that? And he said, no. But funnily enough, I first started getting involved with Barack Obama and paying attention to him when I was in a coffee shop and two gentlemen were sitting at a table, and one of them had a copy of Time magazine, and they were referring to the cover of Barack of the magazine in which Barack Obama was featured, and they basically said, this uppity you know what thinks he can become president, and that stung him, and you know. And I said, well, you're also half white. So, have you ever heard a black man say something about a white man or about you that would be comparable to a white man calling a black man a nigger? And he said, no, there is no. I mean, it's absurd. There is no comparable term, and you know, there's I mean, that term is fraught with, you know, blood and history, and there is no comparable term. I said, what about honky? Come on, get real. So anyway, so in terms of analyzing that one, and the next one too, in which using the same tone, probably from the same sermon, in which he you know, he tells the congregation, Barack Obama doesn't fit the mold. He isn't rich. He isn't white. He doesn't fit the mold of a typical candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. The United States of America is largely controlled by rich, white, middle-aged men. I mean, nobody can quarrel with that observation. It's true. And he's not asking his congregation to overthrow this hierarchy. I mean, he's supporting a candidate who is running to become a member of that hierarchy. You know, a distinguished member of that hierarchy. So what he's saying is to his congregation in those two excerpts is, this guy, Barack Obama, is largely unknown to you and untested, but he's got a hard road to hoe. So when you're deciding how to cast your vote, bear that in mind. Because he, like it or not, you know, you can vote for Hillary, she's good, but Barack, she has a knowledge of your experience that she can't possibly have. So I didn't see anything inflammatory, discriminating, despicable, racist, or no more racist than Gloria Steinem saying about Hillary, to white women, vote for Hillary because she's a woman. I mean, if Jeremiah Wright's comments are racist, then